The night shift at the mental hospital was always a haunting experience, with corridors that seemed to stretch endlessly into darkness and whispers that lingered in the air like restless spirits. As a new nurse, I was assigned the late hours, and each shift seemed to unravel a new layer of the hospital's eerie history. The building itself was a relic of another era, crumbling walls, flickering lights, and a sense of heaviness that hung in the air. On my first night, I navigated the labyrinthine hallways, the only sounds being the echo of my footsteps and the occasional distant wail. As I made my rounds, I passed by rooms where patients lay in restless slumber, their murmurs adding to the symphony of the night. But there was one room at the end of the corridor that always gave me an inexplicable sense of dread, the solitary confinement chamber. The heavy metal door loomed before me, ominous and forbidding. I hesitated, feeling a chill crawl up my spine, but duty compelled me to peer inside. The room was stark, bathed in a dim light that barely illuminated the bare mattress on the floor. It was said that a patient had been kept here years ago, a man consumed by delusions and whispers that tormented his mind. He had vanished one stormy night, leaving behind a legacy of haunting tales, a tale that had become a legend within the hospital's walls. I shook off the unsettling feeling and continued my rounds, trying to ignore the sense of unease that clung to me like a shadow. But as the night wore on, strange occurrences began to unfold. Footsteps echoed in empty corridors when I knew I was alone. Doors creaked open on their own, and chilling drafts swept through the halls, carrying with them a sensation of an unseen presence. I chalked it up to my imagination, the eerie environment playing tricks on my mind. As I passed by the solitary confinement room again, a shiver ran down my spine. The heavy door stood ajar, a sight that sent a wave of dread crashing over me. I approached cautiously, the air growing thicker with each step. Peering inside, I expected emptiness, but to my horror, I caught a glimpse of a figure, a silhouette hunched in the corner, obscured by shadows. My heart raced, my breaths shallow as I struggled to make sense of what I was seeing. "Hello?" I called out, my voice barely a whisper. No response. The figure remained unmoving, a haunting presence in the dimly lit chamber. Dread coiled in the pit of my stomach, urging me to leave, but I couldn't tear my gaze away. A sudden gust of wind rattled the windows, extinguishing the feeble light in the room. Panic surged through me as darkness enveloped the solitary confinement chamber, swallowing the figure within. I stumbled backward, my pulse racing as I fumbled for the light switch, desperate to dispel the suffocating darkness. When the lights flickered back on, the room was empty, a hollow chamber that seemed to mock my fear. I rushed out, my mind reeling with a sense of foreboding. As I continued my rounds, the hospital seemed to come alive with whispers, faint, ghostly voices that echoed through the corridors. They were indistinct, yet carried an unmistakable sense of anguish and despair. The clock ticked away the hours, each passing minute amplifying the haunting atmosphere. I tried to focus on my duties, but the feeling of being watched persisted, an unshakable sensation that I was not alone. In the quietest moments, I heard faint sobs and distant moans that sent chills down my spine. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, and I could swear I saw fleeting glimpses of figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. The night reached its peak, the darkness outside deepening as if it sought to consume the world. I longed for the first light of dawn, for the safety it promised, for an end to the unnerving night. As the shift drew to a close, I hurried towards the exit, eager to leave the haunting corridors behind. But just as I reached the heavy doors, a whisper, barely audible, stopped me in my tracks. "Stay," it hissed, a spectral voice that seemed to seep from the very walls. I glanced back, the hospital looming ominously behind me. The voice echoed once more, a chilling plea that seemed to linger in the air. With a racing heart, I pushed open the doors and stepped into the cool night air, leaving behind the chilling whispers and haunting mysteries of the mental hospital. The echoes of that night, the shadows, and the spectral voices would forever linger, a haunting reminder that some spirits refuse to be silenced, even in the quietest hours of the night.